Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Noelle and today we are going to talk about the Garmin Forerunner 945. Okay, so full disclosure, I am partnering with Garmin for the year 2020. So I will be using their products exclusively throughout this season. I think I will be seeing at least 3 of their watches come across my table, and so you have that to look forward to. I have been using Garmin for the past 10 years. I mean, it's almost exactly the length of time that I have been running. There was some period of time in my first year of running where I was just using a regular stopwatch, and then I got on the Garmin side, and despite some detours, I've always gravitated back to using a Garmin, purchasing it personally, and so I am thrilled to be officially using Garmin as one of their partners for this year. Alright, so the Garmin Forerunner 945 is the top of their Forerunner line. I have previously reviewed the Forerunner 245 Music, and the 945 actually shares a lot of the same capabilities as the 245 Music. Of course, because it's the top of the line in the Forerunner line. The one thing that the 945 has over the 245 is its multi-sport capability. And that's one of the things that I actually mentioned in my 245 review that I wish that they had in that particular watch, because otherwise, if you're a runner and athlete on a budget, you could definitely just go with the 245 Music for all of your multi-sport needs. But unfortunately, it doesn't have the multi-sport function, and that's only available in the 945. So if you are a triathlete, then definitely you have to go with the 945. So I started using the Forerunner 945 just before the Singapore Marathon last year. I think I got it like the week before I was supposed to leave for Singapore. And I have to say, I was kind of scared that I might have some problem using all the buttons, because I'd been so used to using the 920 XT and the buttons aren't in the same place. For instance, the lap button is on the lower right side, while with the 920 XT, the lap button is on the face on the left side. I was just scared I might press the wrong button and inadvertently end my session and whatnot. But the 945 was surprisingly intuitive to use. And so what I've mentioned is the 945 is basically the 245 with a multi-sport function. So if you want to see my review of the Forerunner 245 Music, you can tap here on the corner up above, or in the description box below. I will leave the link to it as well. I think this review for me will be about how I've used the 945 in the last 2 months. So basically that 2 months, except for the Singapore half marathon that I did, those 2 months were off season. So my Forerunner 945 did stay on my wrist throughout that time, but I used it to track sleep, stress, heart rate, training status, etc. The Garmin Connect app told me that the level of training that I had hit with the Singapore half marathon would actually not be beneficial to me. It's kind of like it was too much of an overreach. It did prove itself true. I did not have a great December. I got sick, and then I got asthmatic. I do have asthma, but my asthma was kind of triggered after having a cold, and so I just couldn't find it in myself to train or do anything athletic throughout December. And then I just saw my training status like after the Singapore half marathon. It was kind of like it was maintaining and then recovery, and then it said that I was peaking. And then after that, yeah, Garmin Connect did start marking me as in the process of detraining. And so that's why, I mean, after the first week of January, I just, looking at the stats on my watch, it just triggered me to start exercising and start training again. And I did see my metrics start improving. Like my VO2 max started rising again. My resting heart rate started dropping again, which means that my cardiovascular health was improving. And I did start sleeping better, paradoxically, which means that my training was just right. Because I have problems sleeping when I do too much, too fast, like I don't have an adjustment period in the time period, in these 2 months. No. So in January, my sleeping was much better. I was averaging 8 hours of sleep a night. And that's probably because I was doing just enough exercise to, to bring about the improvements in my body without overly taxing it. And I was able to do that because I was tracking with the 945. One of the things that I really liked from the 245, which also shows up in the 945, is the body battery function. Basically, this tracks how well you're recovering and if you have enough left in the tank to work out or to train for the day. So I did notice some bad habits causing recovery to go at a much slower pace, and then some good habits actually encouraging recovery. One of the bad habits is alcohol consumption. So even if I slept like a log on the nights that I would have a drink or two with friends, in the morning when I looked at my body battery stats, I was not recharging properly at all. Like, it would stay flat, or maybe during the night while I slept, instead of rising, the body battery measure would actually fall. And if I looked at the stress level graphs superimposed on that body battery analysis, I would see that there was a lot of stress even while I was sleeping. And Garmin's literature says that's because your body is trying to process the alcohol, and that's what's causing the stress, and that's what's causing you not to recharge your body battery. The good habit that really helped me recharge my body battery was sleeping early. There were nights I just really felt super sleepy, so I'd head off to bed at around 9 or 10 p.m. And I'd wake up at the same time in the mornings as I usually do, but body battery was at 100% or close to it. Versus times that I would sleep at around 12 midnight, and numerically I was still sleeping 8 hours a night, but when I wake up, body battery would charge up to just 75 to 80%. So that's really strange, but then it's really about how your body works in its own cycles and rhythms to recover. And so it's up to you to figure out how that works for you. So when you track it, you're able to change it. So since this entire time period I've been doing base training, I've had to keep my heart rate under a certain number, and that's supposed to help me build more aerobic function so that I have better fitness as I move into the proper season up ahead in the year. And just like in the 245, I really appreciate the wrist-based heart rate monitor. I don't think I can go back to the chest strap anymore. It's pretty much accurate because I have measured it against the chest strap as well. I'm that kind of athlete who has gotten so used to like pushing and feeling out of breath, etc., etc. But I actually haven't built that aerobic capacity where I can jog and have a conversation with somebody. And so that's what I've been focusing on doing this time frame, and that's what the 945 has helped me accomplish. I am so looking forward to using the Forerunner from Garmin as I go throughout this entire 2020 season. I've already been able to use it once in a multi-sport race at the Singapore Aquathlon. I had to create a new multi-sport activity and set a swim and then a run as the event. But beyond that, it was pretty much plug and play. because it's so early in my season, I haven't been able to ride out with this, cycle with this outdoors, but I've already used it outdoors in a run, and I know that it locks GPS really well. It has also been able to pick up my speed sensor on my bike. Even when I'm doing trainer workouts, this still gives me a pretty good idea of how fast I'm going, how far I've gone, etc. And so it's really helped me keep on track during this base building season. So pretty much that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, or if you have any experience using the 945 and want to share it, please put it in the comments below, or you can always reach me on social media. Make sure to like this video, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. That's all for now, guys. See you again next time.